what the Indiana Fever have pulled off this offseason. And it starts with the exciting whites. They just added Sophie Cunningham, a real basketball player who is an Instagram model. She's a real basketball player who's an Instagram model. She is beautiful in a way that you just don't expect from female athletes. And you add Sophie Cunningham to Caitlin Clark and Lexi Hull. And you have just, as much as many of us have been pissed off about Caitlin Clark kissing the ring of the Yas Queens, and I'm here to make sure black women are elevated. And trust me, she's went woke and it pisses me off, and she bowed and she kissed the ring. But I'm not going to kid myself and pretend like that a lot of America is going to find Caitlin Clark, Sophie Cunningham, and Lexi Hull the exciting whites. And there's going to be a lot of excitement in the suburbs. Moms who have daughters who are jocks, they're going to be into the exciting whites. Their daughters are going to insist that you take me to go see Caitlin Clark, Sophie Cunningham, and Lexi Hull. The ponytail brigade is about to overtake the WNBA. And if you thought there was hatred towards Caitlin Clark and the Indiana Fever last year, this little trio of exciting white girls is going to amp that up even more. Backed up by, and look, Sophie Cunningham can play, and she'll be a great addition, three-point shooter, off the bench, maybe starting lineup, who knows, but she'll be a great addition on the court. But it's this off-court appeal that's going to take things over the top, and I believe that's the main reason the WNBA has gotten her to the Indiana Fever. But the real substance of what the Indiana Fever have done here, and I'm not dismissing Sophie Cunningham as a basketball player, but these additions of this Natasha Howard and DeWanna Bonner, holy cow, what an upgrade on the Fever's front court. This Nylisa Smith that was their power forward last year, who really couldn't stand Caitlin Clark and just spent all her days and nights dreaming about being laid up somewhere with Dejanay Carrington, and was just, Nylisa Smith was a problem chemistry-wise, didn't fit the culture of the Indiana Fever, and just wasn't consistent enough, effective enough a player. DeWanna Bonner has been like 4 or 5, 6-time All-Star. Averaged 15 points, 8, 9 rebounds last year for the Connecticut Sun. Played for this new coach the Indiana Fever have, Stephanie White, who was the head coach of the Connecticut Sun, has a championship pedigree. This new coach the Fever have added. And then you throw in Natasha Howard, also playing the holy moly. This is a championship team that they put together around Caitlin Clark. And it's got a little Boston Celtics, Larry Bird, white girl, exciting whites type of appeal. The Indiana Fever will be the biggest story in sports come May. And it will last all the way through the summer, and their championship run, you go get them right now. They're plus 550. Before these moves they've made this offseason, I think they were plus 1,300. Here I am. We're talking about gambling, and I'm giving you gambling advice. Call me a hypocrite, but I'm just telling you, the Indiana Fever have a championship team, and based on how the WNBA and professional sports are operated, it is in the best interest of the WNBA for the Indiana Fever to make the championship and perhaps win the championship. That will put the WNBA over the top. White girl summer, exciting white summer, backed up by Aaliyah Boston at center, and these two additions, Natasha Howard and DeWanna Bonner. Holy cow. You're about to see the takeover of basketball by women here domestically. That's what is going on. This is all part, and I gotta say, I'm not comfortable with it, but I'm not going to deny that I'm going to be a witness to it. And there's a lot of people, I'm not going to watch. I can't stand Caitlin Clark now. I would never watch the WNBA. Yes, you are. Because of the conflict. They've just basically built the Boston Celtics here. And now they got Larry Bird, and now they got Kevin McHale and Robert Parrish and Dennis Johnson and Danny Ainge. They got all the pieces around. Cornbread Maxwell, they got Stephanie White, a real coach. You're going to watch because of the racial conflict. There's nothing they like selling more than racial conflict in sports. The exciting whites in the WNBA, they're going to lead the WNBA. I would say between 3 and 5 years from now, WNBA is going to have more domestic relevance than the NBA, and this is the start of that process. Steve, welcome back. This is my last and final point as it relates to Luka Doncic and the credibility of the NBA. Am I right or wrong here?
I'm glad my mic was turned off during that soliloquy. Here's my reaction. In the immortal words of Korean American parents all across the country, after a few too many B pluses and maybe a C, are you crazy? Really? God, it's like, come on. Are you crazy? Look, Jason, I will give you this. The exciting whites, as you like to call them, will be a story. They will be a singular story. But across the board, it's like UConn and Tennessee throughout the years when they had their dominant runs, they were very popular. In fact, they were probably more popular to a certain degree than a lot of NCAA men's basketball teams. But overall, the men's sport was still more popular, even during March Madness, especially during March Madness. Now, that particular squad in Indiana, they will be a story every time they play. But here's the reality, and it's going to cause a lot of resentment. The philosophy of grievance, as Thomas Sowell says, will come out all throughout the rest of the WNBA and the Jamel Hills of the world. They'll have their daily think pieces about how we built this league and now they get to reap the rewards, even though they built everything on quicksand and in the Everglades. Yes, I will grant you this. That one team, they will be the 98 Bulls. Absolutely. They will be a traveling road show or as big as you can be in the WNBA. However, league to league, as much as I don't like the NBA, they will still be a more popular league than the W.
I'm projecting 3 to 5 years, and I'm projecting a massive amount of growth this season. Caitlin Clark's best games this year, I think we're drawing 2.5 million viewers. I may be out over my skis here. I think her best games this year are going to draw 3 to 4 million viewers. And once she starts doing that in regular season games, and I just want you to look at what she's already done to someone like me. And I'm telling you, I was not a women's basketball fan. But this is when Caitlin Clark, and I think they're playing 44 games this year, maybe they played 42 last year, I can't remember, they hyped it up. But when Caitlin Clark goes city to city, team to team, and I watched every game last year, and I'm probably going to watch every game this year, and I can't believe I'm saying that because I was really upset with Caitlin Clark.
Oh, God.
But it's like, this is what she did. It's like when I was like, oh, they traded for Natasha Howard. I knew who that was. Oh, they just are acquired Natasha. I don't know how they got her. They just acquired DeWanna Bonner. I knew who that was. Oh, that's Alyssa Thomas's wife or fiance that was on the Connecticut side. I knew who that was. She's introduced me to all these different players that I never would have been introduced to. I know exactly how they fit in. I can, more than any NBA, I could evaluate the Indiana Fever and their roster moves a lot more. That it's like, who's the guy that was it? Some dude named Max Christie or whatever that just got traded to the Dallas Mavericks as a part of the, I didn't even know who that was. And allegedly he was some important piece of the Los Angeles. Like, Caitlin Clark has introduced me and a lot of other people to the WNBA, and and it's not that these guys are great players, but they're a part of a great story that the WNBA just improved. They've created Magic Johnson versus Larry Bird. And all they have is Larry Bird. But the rest of the league, you tie Asia Wilson and Angel Reese and what's the Brianna Stewart and whoever else, the entire Minnesota Lynx roster, you tie all of them together and they're Magic Johnson. And so they've got Bird versus Matt. You got the exciting whites against the angry blacks. That's what the exciting whites versus the angry blacks. It's a story. If you enjoyed that video, be sure to hit the like button and subscribe so you never miss a moment of Fearless.